boom, 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 F-time. Let's talk about one of my favorite teams coming into Season 7. Sanguine, baby. That's right. This team is going to be the #1 team in the Smite Pro League to watch, improve, and have fun and root for. Will they be #1? Probably not. You never know, though, and that's the fun of watching this squad. We have no idea where their ceiling is. Listen, players are consistently improving in the Smite Pro League, but everybody's kind of improving together, right? Like, the skill differential in Smite is not what it used to be. Adapting used to just be better than everybody, right? Now, can it? Maybe he is better than most players. But when you look at the majority of the Smite Pro League, everybody has around the same level of skill. And as we play more competitive and constructed Smite, we all improve as one, right? Maybe there is a year that, one player is spiked up, but in general, we move with the tides, right? Now you have this variable where you have this Latin American team in Sanguine that has been improving in their own world, right? And now they're here to invade the Pro League and see what happens. Rongu, Netroid, Shinto, Hardcore, Panatom, and Coach Oxy. These guys are coming to the Pro League like a rainstorm, man. They are these guys are on fire. They're off of a Worlds defeat. Yeah, I mean, they got 0-3'd, but making it to Worlds was a big deal. This squad, to talk about them as a squad is perhaps more important, but we can run through the roster right quick. Rongu, fantastic support. Fantastic support. He's got all the instincts that you want. A lot of what I said about Neil Ma in a previous video or on broadcast, I've said this a lot, that Neil just has these instincts. He just instinctually body blocks for his teammates, or he instinctually finds himself within relic range, right? That's the type of thing that you see at a Rongu. Now, still not an absolute, rock god. I think where his negatives are is in his decision-making is a double-edged sword. Rongu, to a positive, doesn't really second-guess himself, it seems. Ronnie just kind of does. And since he has a lot of the right instincts, a lot of the time, it leads to a cool play. Like a life-saving event. His teammate wouldn't have gotten out of there if it wasn't for him. Or an odd initiation that leads to a fantastic team fight because he saw all the variables. Maybe felt them, right? Sometimes that sort of reckless abandon can lead to failure, and that sucks. And that's the type of thing, right, that improves with more competition. One of the big things, brief Smite history lesson, international regions used to exist. Smite was online. Everybody knows about NA and EU, but there used to be all these international regions. None of those teams ever really, unfortunately, never really mattered because they never really got any good. Stella from Oceania, still in my heart. Love you guys. But that never really happened. And a large part of the reason was because of lack of competition. NA and EU have the best players in the world, so they're going to get better and better. If you don't have anybody to play against, you're just not going to improve. And so now we get to see them play against different players, right? So Rongu here is now in a position to elevate his decision-making because the good players will punish him for making some of the plays that he got away with, which are just bad decision-making. It looks good or it feels good because the players around him can't play against it. Now he's against the best of the best of the best, sir. And that's the type of skill set that improves thanks to competition. So I'm all about it for Rongu here. I think he's already a fantastic player, and he's only going to go up from here. Next up, Netroid. Netroid, also from Peru. The dual lane from Peru. Netroid is your carry. Remember that clip from World? I loved it, where he just screaming like, ah! Dude, the passion is there. He is this guy lives and breathes the game. The whole team does, to be fair. It's actually really funny when these guys started. They Q ranked on North American servers, especially when they were living here and doing the thing, right? And all the NA and EU pros get so mad because of how seriously they take ranked. They're like really trying to like grind and improve, and sometimes the pros just want to like play raw, and then not allowed when you get the Latam boys on the squad. Netroid, absolutely a big part of that as well, and he's got the skill set for it. I mean, we saw him last year in placements like take on Pro League carries. Netroid was a big reason why his team did so well. A lot of the pros, it's funny. I like Netroid and Rongyu. Rongyu is actually one of my favorite players on this team. A lot of the pros look at Netroid and Shinto as the guys. Netroid and Shinto, absolutely, to say they have the pro leaguers' respect as competitors is almost downplaying it, The guys are like, yeah, everybody talks about the pro league being a boys' club, right? These guys, Netroid and Shinto, are in that squad, so to speak, as far as level of respect from the pros. They're like, yeah, those guys will improve and play well, etc. Shinto is very similar to Netroid in that he's just the hard carry. Shinto, I actually think, is the one that does the hardest of the carrying in the middle lane. Simply put, Shinto outplays players. I really like the way he plays the early game specifically. And he's got an eclectic god pool, which is, I think, a result of playing in different leagues. So I'm excited to see, maybe we get some Agni back, Like, I'm excited to see Shinto kind of do his thing. And very few players preserve their playstyle when they come to a pro league, whether it's you're playing Euroball and coming to the NBA, or you're playing college Call of Duty and go to the CDL, right? Same thing when you're playing Smite, dude. It's a different meta in that different league, and so Shinto bringing his playstyle to the different league is, I think, what's going to happen, and a rarity. Most players find that their playstyle is specific to the league that they played in. They played in a league where everybody played fire Pokemon, so they brought a Squirtle and won. But now they come to the big leagues, and there's a whole mess of Pokemon, and sometimes they lose to Venusaur, right? Like, you start to realize that your playstyle is actually just a specific way of looking at the game. Shinto, I think Shinto will bring his weird gods and bring his early game prowess and do the thing. I am excited. I really am excited for Shinto. Shinto's going to be fun to watch. Panatom's going to be the question mark for me here. The jungler, serviceable role player. The Smite Pro League is a jungler-driven league. Can this team is very mid lane focused. Their mid lane is their hard carry. Can Shinto and Netroid do it with hardcore facilitating? We've seen that happen. Cherio, Captain Twig have played facilitatory junglers. That's worked. We'll see. Panatom gets himself in a lot of trouble sometimes, and he's the question mark for me. Even more so than Hardcore, who's a player that has never come to land, just hasn't been able to get a visa. Big old question mark on Hardcore. But now he'll play. Looking online, I mean, Hardcore is a big part of what makes this team strong. So, theoretically, the team will look better than they did with Haddix. Chadix crushed it. But let's be real here. And this segues into this team as a squad. What Sanguine did at World's Placement was monumental. It was so much fun to watch. And it was impressive. And that was with a player that they've played with for 2 weeks, that they didn't scrim with an awful lot, that didn't speak their native language. That's a huge shout out to Haddix, but also a huge shout out to the rest of the team. The team would make a call and Netroid would have to repeat it in English. Oftentimes just scatterbrained because they're in the middle of a fight. And Haddix would interpret it. Like I said, good for Haddix. Haddix played very well. The Sanguine dudes, though, that's what they did. with a guy that doesn't know their system, doesn't know their players, doesn't know their goddamn language. Hardcore is their OG solo laner. He's the one that got them to that point. Theoretically, the team is just better. This team has been together for so long in some way, shapes, or form. So it's been around for about 2 years, maybe a year and a half. And you've got a couple of different players that have played together, right? Shinto and Rongyu have played together for mad long. Go back to 2018. And like crazy stuff. When it comes down to it, this team, everybody loves synergy. Remember Cyclone? We fell in love with Rival. Deathwalker and Wolfie and Collis. Friends forever. Interlock arms. Make it to Worlds, right? And we loved them because they were a team that stuck together. And we wanted to see them make the rise. We wanted to see them in the Pro League. So why do so many people yell and scream about how this team doesn't deserve it? Nothing made me more mad. There was a conversation because the league got shrunk from 10 to 8 teams. And so there's a lot of pro players that are no longer on teams. It was a big conversation about whether these players deserved to be in the Pro League over other pro players. These guys absolutely do. They've been playing competitive Smite for a long time, and I don't believe it. And I don't believe in handouts, but they've absolutely earned the right. They continue to improve. Found themselves. Yes, they got 0-3 at Worlds, but that was the latest rung on the ladder. Now is the time to put up or shut up. Now is the time that they got to do it. Now is the time we see who Sanguine is and if they can hang. The ceiling has been removed. A big part of what keeps these international teams back is the lack of competition in their international regions. Minor League stripped that, and we saw Sanguine improve. Now they're playing amongst the best players in the world. They have to become great. It's the same story that we watched with Rival. I'm excited because I think this team, like I said, number one, probably a stretch. But these guys, we don't know what their ceiling is. We just don't. And that is why they're going to be the most fun team to watch. The most fun team. Hopefully they just don't get like host, but I don't think they will. I realistically think that Shinto, Netroid, I think this team can hang. Dude, this is like a fantasy squad. Basically, Latin America, when they started closing the international regions, sort of picked the best players in all of Latin America. And then they got Coach Oxy, who is your typical veteran coach. He's just been around forever. We Love Bacon, 404 Esports. Been playing Smite forever. This is what you want your team to be. It's going to be fun to watch. Sanguine, baby. I will be rooting for this team. Hell yeah. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Do it right now. And then I'll see you next time. Peace. And much love to you. Boom, boom. Wait. Boom, 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 boom. After.